Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and thought, wait a second, does he actually understand what I'm saying? Well, science says maybe he does. Dogs have lived beside humans for over 30,000 years, evolving not just to obey us, but to read us. They understand our tone, gestures, and even emotions, something no other animal does quite as well. But among the millions of dogs out there, some breeds stand out, not just for loyalty or beauty, but for pure intelligence. I'm Agent No, and today we're counting down the 10 smartest dog breeds in the world. We'll see how their brains work, how they help humans, and maybe how some of them are secretly manipulating us for snacks. Number 10, Australian Cattle Dog. These dogs were born for the wild outback. Endless plains, stubborn cattle, and weather that would make most city dogs call an Uber. The Australian Cattle Dog, also called the Queensland Heeler, isn't just tough, it's one of the most self-reliant minds in the dog world. They were bred by mixing wild dingoes with working dogs from Europe. Why? Because Australian farmers needed a partner that wouldn't quit. They can outthink a cow, plan routes around obstacles, and even anticipate where a herd will turn before it happens. But here's the twist, they're not blindly obedient. They'll size you up first. If they don't see you as the leader, good luck getting them to sit. Once they trust you though, you've got a teammate for life, alert, fearless, and loyal to the bone. Many owners say their healers know what you're about to say before you say it. Creepy? Maybe. Smart? Absolutely. So yeah, don't let that compact body fool you. Behind those eyes is a tactical genius wrapped in fur and dust. Number 9, the Rottweiler. Power, discipline, intelligence. That's the holy trinity of the Rottweiler. Originally bred in Germany to drive cattle and guard markets, Rotties have worked for centuries as protectors both of livestock and of people. Here's the amazing part. They can learn a new command in 5 repetitions or fewer. That's faster than most humans learn a new Wi-Fi password. Rottweilers don't just memorize, they analyze. When they sense danger, their brain runs through an instant risk assessment. Friend, stranger, or threat. They don't bark first and think later. They think, then act, usually faster than you can blink. That's why they're top choices for police and rescue work. But when they're off duty, they're goofy, affectionate, and weirdly sensitive. They'll lean against your leg like a living weighted blanket. So yes, the Rottweiler is strong, but it's the mind behind those muscles that makes it a legend. Number 8, the Papillon. Now let's downsize the genius a little. Meet the Papillon, also called the butterfly dog. Small body, big brain, even bigger attitude. These little aristocrats once ruled the laps of European nobility, and honestly, they still act like it. But don't underestimate them. Their intelligence is roughly equal to a 6-year-old human child. That means they can learn complex commands, understand tone shifts, and even solve simple puzzles. Papillons are masters of communication. Every head tilt, every blink is a message. If you're sad, they'll climb into your lap. If you ignore them too long, they might redecorate your shoes. Yes, they're dramatic. But that emotional depth is part of their genius. They read humans like open books, and sometimes they write in them too. They say small dogs have big egos. Well, Papillons have big IQs to match. Number 7, the Labrador Retriever. If there were a Nobel Prize for kindness, the Labrador Retriever would win it every single year. But what most people don't realize is just how smart these happy-go-lucky dogs actually are. Labs combine 3 things that rarely come in one package: obedience, empathy, and problem solving. You can learn a new command after only 5 tries and respond correctly about 95% of the time, even when their owner is across the yard. They're also emotional detectives. A lab can tell the difference between an angry voice and a sad one. They'll stay close when you cry and wag when you laugh. Some people say their labs read their souls. That's why Labradors are used everywhere. As guide dogs for the blind, therapy dogs for trauma survivors, even search and rescue heroes after natural disasters. Their intelligence isn't about being clever, it's about being connected. They don't just listen to commands, they listen to you. So the next time you see a Labrador wagging its tail, remember that tail is attached to a brain that understands love better than most of us. Number 6, the Shetland Sheepdog. From the Scottish Islands comes one of the most underrated geniuses in the dog kingdom, the Shetland sheepdog, or Sheltie. Imagine a fluffy CEO who insists on managing everything in your household, from your children to your Roomba. That's a Sheltie. These dogs are sharp, observant, and insanely quick learners. They can memorize routines, anticipate movements, and even predict when their owner is coming home, sometimes to the exact minute. Their herding instincts make them protective and focused. If they sense danger, they'll alert the entire neighborhood, sometimes a bit too enthusiastically. Yes, Shelties bark a lot, but think of it this way: it's just them giving you a performance review. They're also emotionally tuned. When you're calm, they relax. When you're anxious, they pace beside you, matching your heartbeat like little empathetic shadows. Smart, sensitive, and endlessly loyal, the Sheltie isn't just a worker. They're a mind reader in a fur coat. Number 5, the Doberman Pinscher. If Batman had a dog, it would be a Doberman. Elegant, fearless, strategic. Bred in Germany for protection, Dobermans were designed to be the perfect balance between power and intellect. They're fast, precise, and terrifyingly quick to learn. A well-trained Doberman can remember dozens of hand signals, respond instantly to danger, and even make independent decisions during police operations. Their intelligence isn't just academic, it's tactical. They calculate angles, read threats, and act with purpose. You can literally see the gears turning behind those almond-shaped eyes. Some say cropped ears make them fiercer, but the truth? It's not the ears, it's the brain. A Doberman's mind is wired for awareness, loyalty, and timing. And yet, when the uniform comes off, they're sweet and goofy big babies that love cuddles and attention. They're proof that strength and sensitivity can coexist in one extraordinary animal. Number 4, the Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever, the sunshine of the dog world. They're friendly, calm, and always smiling. But behind that golden smile lies a very sophisticated mind. Goldens have the intelligence of a 6 or 7-year-old child. They understand cause and effect, recognize over 100 words, and even interpret body language. They're the ultimate multitaskers. Therapy dogs, search dogs, guide dogs, movie stars, you name it. And they want to make you happy. That's not obedience, that's emotional reasoning. If you're upset, they'll quietly rest their head on your knee. If you laugh, they'll burst into joyful barks and spin in circles. They don't just mimic emotion, they share it. Maybe that's why Goldens show up in so many viral videos, fetching mail, bringing slippers, even helping break up dog fights. They're not just acting cute, they genuinely understand harmony. Goldens remind us that intelligence isn't only about brains, it's about heart. Number 3. The German Shepherd. If loyalty had a face, it would look like this. The German Shepherd. Strong, disciplined, brilliant. They're the professionals of the dog world: soldiers, detectives, rescuers, and sometimes heroes. A well-trained German Shepherd can learn a new command after one demonstration. Just one. They retain complex tasks, understand sequences, and remember human sense for years. In police units, they're not just following orders, they're interpreting situations. They can detect explosives, track missing persons, and even recognize changes in a person's heart rate or breathing. That's more than training, that's intuition. But here's what surprises most people. Off-duty, they're gentle and emotional. They'll protect your family, play with your kids, and still watch the door all night just in case. There's a reason you see them in almost every country's service forces. They're not just dogs, they're partners. And like every great partner, they think before they act. Number 2, the Poodle. You might think of them as fashion icons with fancy haircuts, but beneath that fluff is one of the sharpest minds on 4 legs. The Poodle is a born performer, elegant, expressive, and emotionally aware. Originally bred as water retrievers, their curly coats aren't just cute. They're functional, but their real weapon? That brain. Poodles can learn up to 300 words and gestures, solve puzzles, and adapt their behavior to your emotions. They even seem to test you: are you serious about that command, or are we negotiating? It is then? That's right, Poodles negotiate. They sense tone, posture, and expression, and respond accordingly. Happy voice? They'll show off. Serious voice? Instant obedience. They've been circus performers, therapy dogs, and loyal companions to royalty. But at home, they're comedians, goofy, affectionate, and maybe just a little too self-aware. The Poodle proves intelligence isn't just logic, it's understanding the performance of life itself. Number 1, the Border Collie. And finally, we reach the undisputed Einstein of the canine world, the Border Collie. Their intelligence rivals that of an 8-year-old human child. They can memorize over 1,000 words, recognize objects by name, and even combine ideas to solve problems. Border Collies dominate every herding and obedience competition on Earth. They can plan several steps ahead, make split-second decisions, and read your body language like subtitle. But their intelligence is a double-edged sword. If you don't keep their mind busy, they'll create their own work, opening doors, reorganizing shoes, or redecorating your backyard. They're quick, cunning, and sometimes a little mischievous. But that's what makes them brilliant. A Border Collie doesn't just follow orders, it collaborates with you. It's like having a colleague who just happens to have 4 legs and perfect recall. So yes, the Border Collie isn't just smart, it's genius unleashed. So what truly makes a dog smart? It's not just tricks or memory. It's the ability to understand us, to read our emotions, share our lives, and teach us what loyalty really means. Whether it's a golden heart, a herding genius, or a tiny butterfly dog with royal manners, each one reminds us that intelligence comes in many forms. I'm Agent No, and if this journey made you smile, give your dog an extra treat. Tonight they've earned it. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay curious, stay kind, and keep learning from the smartest teachers we've ever had, our dogs.